Thank you so much for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah. I am super excited. Victoria Platt has come to join me. She is a beautiful sister, and she's going to share about who she is, what she does, and how she can help you. Victoria, take it away.
Hi, I'm a Somatic Experiencing Practitioner and an energy balancing and mindfulness therapist. And what I do is I have sessions with groups, individuals, couples. I even do sessions for businesses where I check into the energy of the space or of the group or of the individual. I see what you are looking to address, what's out of balance, and I help get that back on track. And as a somatic experiencing practitioner, I will sit down. It's similar to cognitive behavioral therapy or emotion focused therapy. And we sit and we talk a little bit, but then I notice where the activation is coming up. Where am I noticing that you're getting activated? Where am I noticing that you're starting to get ramped up or the charge or there's movement in the body? And then we pause and then we go into the body. We talk about how your body has processed that trauma, how it's landed there, and what we can do to complete threat response cycles, release the stuck energy, and move back to a regulated state. That's what I do.
That is so powerful. So now, how did you get to that type of work? Where did you come from? What type of
Okay.
corporate did you do before you came into this beautiful world?
This work. So I've always been a creative. I was a performer starting at the age of 8, and actually a little earlier than that. And in the process of being on stage and with creative people always are interested in other modalities. They do a lot of alternative things. And when I was doing this play called as a musical that was supposed to go to Broadway, and it was called Storyville, and Toni Morrison wrote it.
Oh, okay.
And I was with a bunch of grown-ups. I was maybe 9, and with a bunch of grown-ups who came over to me one day and asked me about meditating. I said, "You know how to meditate?" I was like, "No, I don't even know what that is." I said, "Do you journal?" "No." "Tell us what you," and I remember saying, because someone came over to me and said, "What are you looking at?" I was looking out the window and I said, "I'm looking at bubbles." He said, "Okay." He said, "Come on over." And I guess it was because I recall the moment a little bit, but I guess that was, they recognized in that moment that I was seeing. I had clairaudience, I had clairvoyance. I later realized I had clairaudience, but they trained me. They trained me in TM or transcendental meditation. They taught me how to journal. They taught me how to meditate, walking meditations or seated meditations or humming and that got me started on the path. And I just was hungry for, I don't want to call it spiritual work because I don't know anything that is not spiritual. I really don't. Everything is spiritual.
I love
It's all spirit. But intentionally finding ways of expressing spiritually. And so I was very much into religious practices and rituals and ceremonies. And if it rang true to me, I was doing it. I don't care what you called it. It could have been Islam, it could have been witchcraft, it could have been Yoruba, it could have been Christianity. If there was truth in it, I was doing it. And I started speaking to spirit and I started speaking to spirits with a little lowercase s and experienced a lot of relationships and communications from the other side. I spoke to ancestors, I spoke to other people, I had friends that people told me later weren't real. And I was like, they're not, y'all don't see those people. And it's probably around the time that my father transitioned. I was pretty solid in my gifts and spoke to him a lot. I knew actually that he was going to die before he died. So that when he did, the person who I was with at the time, she said, "Oh, your sister's calling." And I just sat down on the chair. And she said, "Are you okay?" She said, "We don't have to answer it." I said, "Just give it to me. It's my father." At that point, I really started to train. Then I started actually learning about it. I intentionally, not just doing it, but learning the history of things, learning where things came from, the origins of them. And that brought me to learning an energy balancing protocol and then becoming Somatic Experiencing Practitioner. And also a minister in the Christian tradition.
Because it's all truth. It's so powerful because I read that on your profile and then I thought, okay.
And I say to people, like, I am probably the most pagan Christian minister you are ever going to meet. And not because I'm pagan, although I guess I would be considered that. But pagan is just another label. It's just another label for I have a real respect and understanding of the cycles of nature.
Yes.
Of which we all are nature. Get out into nature. You are nature. What are you talking about? But when I say that, I want people to understand that I follow Christ, not Christianity. I want to be very clear in my expression of that because it's been used in many different ways. And the purest is when we follow Christ, because Christ was not a Christian. He was a Jew until the end. And it's very important to me that I'm not following traditions and religions.
Yes.
I'm following God, period.
Yes. That's the only way.
Yeah.
People get so caught up and hung up on religion and this one and that one. And somebody told me there were 470 different types of Christian religions. And I thought, the world. And then I saw some that were like based on one scripture that they pulled out of the freaking King James travesty. It's nothing. What? And that's what we're doing?
Yeah.
And then you got all the other cults. It's like, this is, no.
Yeah.
So I even refrained from calling myself a Christian. I did. I'm a more Christian mystic. But I did refrain from that for a while because I thought, I can't identify with that foolishness
Yeah.
that they talk about. And I just can't. I'm like, no, because I truly believe that God would not be pleased with none of that.
None of it.
So,
None of it.
yeah, that's been something.
Yeah.
In your experience, how does the body reveal where we've given away our spiritual authority? And how can somatic awareness help us reclaim it?
I love that question.
Yeah.
So I want you to imagine a body of light. And imagine that's our sort of energy body or our ethereal body. And you see the energy moving in a balanced way. There's energy evenly distributed all through it. When we go into fight, flight, or freeze, energy from the body collects in certain spots. So if you imagine, something happens and all this energy collects at the hip. Now there's not energy in the toes or in the fingers or in the other hip or in the head because all of this energy is collecting in this one place. So now we don't have access to all of our chi. We don't have access to life force. How I address that is we go in and we talk about what that activation is and how it came up. What was the trauma? Oh, I was assaulted at this age, or someone told me I was fat at this age, or even just I look in the mirror and I don't see the person that I think I should be. And there's activation. And we talk about where the activation is. You say, okay, it's in my hip. Okay, let's get to know it. Because all that energy coalesced in that place to protect something. So now we need to complete the threat response cycle. The only reason the body goes into fight, flight, or freeze, or rather, we'll tease that apart in a second. I'll just say fight, flight, is because it's trying to protect, which is why you run or you fight. If you can't run or fight, then you freeze. The freeze response is a totally different thing because first we have to thaw the freeze, and then we have to mobilize that natural instinct to protect ourselves. Once we've completed the threat response cycle, then it doesn't need to protect anymore. It recognizes it's safe. It recognizes it's secure. We establish a sense of safety, belonging, and value within the individual, so it's not coming from without. And then once that happens, then that energy, then it can dissipate and redistribute back into the system to create balance again. Now, if you imagine how many traumas, how many instances of impact we've had, not just physically, but emotionally, that there are all these pieces of, all these pockets of energy that are coalesced in places. So we're not operating at optimum because we want movement. We need fluidity. We need flexibility. Like we know if you brace yourself when you're about to get hit by a car, if you're in a car and you brace yourself, your injuries are way worse. It's way better to not know that the impact is coming.
That's right.
It's way better to not know because the system, yes, because the system will automatically move with it. But when we know it's coming, we brace. And so the process of using somatics allows us to redistribute that energy within the body so that we can have more flexibility, more fluidity, so that when life comes at us, we're not rigid and tight and braced, where the injuries will be much more profound. We're in a relaxed and neutral state where we can absorb it and push it back out. And it's the same process, I think, as Aikido, if I am remembering correctly how Aikido works, is taking the energy of someone else and using it. So it's not fighting. It's the process of moving and alchemizing energy. So that's how I see somatics.
Yeah, that's so beautiful because you wouldn't even know that's what was happening in your life.
Right.
Until the way that you explained it, it was like, yeah, could see it.
Yeah.
Could see it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I want to talk about midlife.
Ooh.
Midlife is what often becomes a threshold moment.
It is, isn't it?
So from a somatic and spiritual perspective, why do you think so many women begin reclaiming themselves during the season? What is the push?
Yeah. It's the number of things.
Claiming us?
Yes. I think some of it is cultural, just that society has conditioned a number of illusions that we operate under. And what I've noticed in my own experience moving through perimenopause, and I'm saying perimenopause, although I know midlife doesn't necessarily mean that, but it often is, that's often what we're working with.
Yes.
Perimenopause or menopause. And what I've really been noticing is, and playing with, being curious about, is the hot flashes. And for me, my hands sometimes tremble, or I get vertigo or menopausal rages, that we really are processing the collective, unaddressed, unacknowledged trauma of being women in a patriarchal society.
Oh.
That hot flashes are really the rage that only a body of a certain stage and age can process. Which is why I think often we're in like a, excuse my French, but we're in a, I don't have no fucks to give at this point. I have no fucks to give.
We have the We Do Not Care Club.
The we do not care. We do not care.
We don't.
And I think the not caring is because we have cared so much.
Absolutely.
It has gone unacknowledged.
Absolutely.
It has been expected to degrees that are inappropriate and unreasonable.
Absolutely.
And it's not just others doing it. We do it to ourselves.
Absolutely.
And we're all brainwashed in the same soup. And so at a certain point, the physical body can't take the allostatic load. It's just too much. And it then starts to spit out or reject what it no longer is interested in experiencing. I have found it to be really empowering to have a hot flash and go, instead of the thing that I used to do in the beginning, which was get frustrated, get irritated, slide into the sort of race consciousness of, here we go with a hot flash. And I just said, now let me get my fan, blah, blah, blah. And now I go, okay, what am I processing? What am I alchemizing? What power am I reclaiming? What am I taking back? What am I taking back for myself? What am I taking back for my ancestors? What am I taking back for the collective? How am I using the divine feminine energy right now? Where is it moving? And I do a somatic practice. I follow. I know my hot flashes. I have 3 kinds of hot flashes, and I could tell you every single one of them, and I could tell you how they move. I could tell you what they're doing, the purpose of them, and what I get from them now. Because I know where they originate. Some originate in my bones, some originate in my skin, some originate in the fascia. They're different. They have different reasons for showing up. So,
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I never put it that way, but I know what you're saying because some of them are like, I can feel it coming on.
yes,
Like I can feel it. It feels like a fire is burning inside my chest and I can just feel it. And
yes,
sometimes it is that silent rage. And you saying that made me remember because my grandmother used to tell me, you carry a rage. This is why, what we talked about backstage, I said I was planning those things because I did and I knew I carried that rage.
yes,
Or I didn't think about the fact that when you're having this hot flash, and then I need people to be off of me. Don't touch
yeah,
me.
yes, yeah, same. It's a lot like I'm having one right now. And I don't get my fan now. Like I don't get the fan. But I feel this one's different. This one starts at the edge of my ears. It moves in toward the ridge of my nose. And then I start feeling it move up the sides of my back. This one it's different. It's lighter. It doesn't have as much fire on it. It's just a warmth. So getting to know them, finding out like what is this? It's harder when they are like the vertigo was a hard one for me. Vertigo was hard because you just can't operate, can't do anything. But the flashes, the rages were amazing because the rages I could sit there and I would just be so angry. And then instead of I would make sure because a couple times I was in the presence of other people and that's no bueno. You don't like the
No.
people in particular didn't. I, on the other hand, had a fabulous time.
Well, so you went out Cruella de Vil.
Oh, I think one time I actually, in the midst of one of them, I got so angry I called my ex. I said, you think because we've broken up that you're gonna miss this? Yeah, you're not gonna miss this. You think because we're not together, you're not gonna experience. I know he was like, okay. Did went all the way in, all the way in. But yeah, the rages are wonderful to do a somatic practice with because you can track it. You can track what is the rage? Where is it from? You could get curious about it. And then normally if really working with it, you can do some major processing and integrating past stuff. It's a powerful time. We're missing an opportunity for magic during this time. We're missing it because people tell us, shoot, sanitariums were created. They used to put us in sanitariums.
Sure did. See, they really did. And that gets me to my point. Do you feel like Midlife is actually an initiation rather than
Mm.
crisis. This is
Yeah.
what they tell us.
Yeah.
It's a crisis.
Yeah.
When they go crazy, like you said, put them in a sanatorium years ago.
Sanatorium. Thank you. Yes, exactly.
My
Yes. Because it said that they're losing it. They're crazy. No, actually, we weren't. And I'm really interested in the etymology of sanatorium now. I'm going to write it down. Excuse me. This is one of my things.
Mhm.
But we hadn't been given. Howling at the moon is not a wolf thing. There are a number of animals and beings that flow with lunar cycles.
Yes.
Our bodies do it naturally.
Yes.
And I believe I read somewhere, and I could be wrong. And so if I'm wrong, just, I don't know, maybe it exists in another realm. But there were 13 months at one point.
I heard that because they say there's a different calendar that you use. One is, what is it, tropical and sidereal or something like that with the.
Yeah, but that there were 28 days in every month. And that if there were 13 months and you took away the other days, it would actually make 13 months and each one would be 28 days, which is pretty much cycle
What would be the point of that?
of making another month
Yeah.
or removing a month. That's a good question. I don't know. I got to look that part up. I don't know if it's because 13 ended up being a bad number. I don't know.
I'm saying, and you know what? And I'm sure this is something that even the listeners would like to look up. This book, who decided?
Who decides?
Yeah.
Whoever
Was
decides
a bad number and why?
that part. Because I find 13 to be an incredible number.
Really?
There were 12 disciples, and Jesus made 13. 13 seems like a pretty good number.
Oh, right. So I'm like, I don't, my parents got married on Friday the 13th.
Did they?
They're married.
My sister was born on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, lots of people I know.
There's a lot of things, a lot of wonderful things. Yeah,
I think it's as good as day as any.
I think so too.
But
Yeah, so
I believe that the work that you're doing is so important because you teach people how to listen to their bodies.
yeah,
And that's so needful because people don't know how to listen to their bodies. And then they want a quick fix.
yeah,
They want to take a pill and it's all done.
yeah. The body don't work like that. And also, we have been the phrase, I think, therefore I am.
Yes.
In this culture, we prioritize cognition. But when you think of cognition is prefrontal cortex, that's the youngest part of the brain. That's the youngest part. We first experience the world through our bodies. There's a book called The Body Keeps the Score by
Yes.
Bessel van der Kolk.
Yeah.
And he talks about how trauma is not a mental experience. It is a physical one. And trauma actually impacts the body in physiological ways that are so small but so profound. By the time you realize there's something out of balance, it's probably been out of balance for a while.
Right.
And because we're conditioned and socialized to turn the body off, and we'll do a sidetrack for a second, because if we really listen to the body, we wouldn't have the world we have right now. Because so much of how the world operates is through the extraction of people's bodies. It's extracting power, it's extracting resource, it's extracting time, it's extracting faculties and gifts, abilities. And we could just look at slavery. We took the body offline because it was too much to deal with. And so then you override the physical body. When the body says, I can't, we go, no, you can. But you can. And so dissociation happens because you can't stay in that. It's impossible you can't reconcile that. Something is going to suffer. It has to. And so, but we are constantly conditioned.
Yes.
Why do we all have to eat at the same time? Why do we all have to have 3 meals? Why are we sleeping at the same time? Why are we? Because a society that does what it is led to do is not a society that can be controlled. And if it cannot be controlled, we cannot make money off of it. It is impossible to take from it. And so what happens is we teach children, and I know there'll be a number of people who are like, what are you saying? I'm saying exactly what I'm saying. School is one of the ways that we teach bodies how to sit and ignore its impulses. And they start us early. And it's not for our benefit.
No.
Why wouldn't we eat when we're hungry? Why wouldn't we sleep when we're tired? What is this 9 to 5 workday? What are we talking about here? So the body has constantly been under attack. There's even the flesh is weak, or the flesh is evil, or no, it's not. No, it isn't. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Do you know all the processes you are doing in this moment? You're healing, you're breathing, your heart is pumping, your liver's moving, your liver's processing, the kidneys are doing this, there's digestion happening. Some people who have a baby in there, they're making a whole ass human being while they doing 1,000 other things.
Right.
And we're talking about the flesh is evil, the body's weak. That's impossible.
You know, that's
Impossible.
whole conversation. Because, yeah.
And so we don't listen to the body's wisdom. It's innate wisdom. And when we don't listen to the body's innate wisdom, it does everything it can to continue to work for us and do what it needs to do, or do what we need it to do. But it suffers. And eventually, so do we, because it can only do so much.
I know you have such a beautiful, gentle energy, and I could be in it for at least another few hours, but you have that kind of. And so we're going to land this plane.
Okay.
I have one question that I ask all of my guests, and I've only gotten the same answer, I think, maybe 3 times.
Okay.
And it is, if you could change anything in the world, what would that be and why?
It would be not a damn thing. And that's because I think of the movie The Matrix, which is one of my favorites, although I think this is like the second or third one. And and Neo and Trinity and Morpheus have just come from seeing the Merovingian. And they go into the elevator. They haven't gotten what they wanted. And they're going down in the elevator, and Neo goes, that didn't go well. And Morpheus said it went exactly like it was supposed to. And Neo goes, how do you know? And he said, we're still alive.
Yes, yeah.
And that's my knowing, is everything is happening as it should happen. What I wouldn't change anything about the world. There are things I don't like. But me changing it suggests that there isn't some divine order. We're all here for a real specific reason. And I want to be a witness to the unfolding and in process with the unfolding, but not judge it. And that ain't easy, but that's my answer.
Love that. I love that. I've gotten that answer one time, but not that response. That was just amazing. I'm like, people have all kinds of answers, and I think I've interviewed over 300 people. So, yeah, I used to interview, God, I was crazy when I first started. I used to interview 5, 6 people a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of energy for you. My goodness.
Ooh, what you thinking about? Ooh. I wonder now, I think about it now. I'm like, I wonder why I was laid up the next.
See, your body was like, I'm here for you, but
I'm
No,
I was
it's taking a toll.
God told me to start it, and I went gung ho into it, and I was like, okay, yeah, I guess this is what I'm supposed to. Because I started way back before there were podcasting academies and all this stuff, and people teaching it and all that. And, oh, none of that.
That's amazing.
Like
I
maybe a
love
YouTube
it.
video here and there
Yeah.
where somebody talked about it, and you figured this out on your own, and we start here. And like start on Facebook Live when you were on top of
Right.
each other and you couldn't even do side by side, and
Right.
download it and then upload it to YouTube and all.
That's wild.
But those were the days, what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let the people know if you have anything that you're doing, or any program that you're wanting to build or anything like that. And then where can people connect with you the best place?
Okay. So the things that I'm doing, I have weekly yoga classes, which are somatically based, and I do those on Mondays and Fridays at 10:30 Central. And they're donation only. It's the way I stay in tune for myself. And then I also have Uncovery meetings. So the Uncovery is an hour and a half meeting on the third Sunday of every month. And that's where I teach the fundamentals of somatics. We do some somatic movement, some breathing, some mudras, some humming, tonal practices, meditation, visualization, and then wrap it up with a group energy balancing. It's the third Sunday of every month. And then this summer, I'm doing a camp in Los Angeles. So it'll be the third year of All of Me Seen Camp for girls. And it's from 6 to 13 years old. I teach somatics and mindfulness through arts and crafts and science. And it's a really incredible program. I'm excited that it's coming back to LA this summer. And how you can find me, ielevateme.com. And you can send me a message and inquire about any one of those things. And I also offer sessions. So you can reach me there. ielevateme.com.
I can only imagine a session with you. Even just the little bit that you shared today here is so powerful and just so needful, especially for women who
Yeah.
are navigating midlife. And I think midlife is different for different women. I've worked with young girls, I call them young girls, like in their 30s, that are navigating some of these changes and stuff that we're navigating. I'm in my 50s. So
Yeah.
I think it's just different. Like how we talked about the generations being,
I
and
think
different.
there's also a conflation that's happening with a stage, and things are moving back to one. That's what Spirit has been talking to me about, is there's a natural pendulation of all things, and we don't think of it in that way, but we inhale and exhale. Like there's life and then there's death, but there's also the universe expands and then the universe contracts and things move back to one. We're seeing how that is happening. And that, because seeing also 70-year-olds still experiencing, or even 80-year-olds who are experiencing this resurgence at like how they were when they were 50. And you're saying these 30-year-olds who are experiencing what women in midlife are experiencing. There's definitely we're blurring all those lines now so that labels aren't going to be working as well. Boxes ain't going to work as well. Categories ain't going to work as well. And they're not supposed to. We're moving away from it, as scary as that is for many folks.
But it's time.
It's time.
We've danced around this stuff for long enough.
It's enough.
It's enough. It's time, and time to make those changes and those shifts and these type of things and move on and do whatever it is that you feel called to do.
Exactly.
And I'm grateful to be a part of the revolution.
Ashe. Ashe. Grateful to be a part of the revolution.
Because it's where we are.
It is where we are. Yeah. I'm grateful too.
Yeah.
Honored. It's a gift to be in service during this time.
Yes. I looked at COVID as a time of, I was telling somebody, I said, it was, for me, it was a gift that keeps on giving. But it was a time of great transition for so many things and so many people.
Yeah,
And it took us to our knees. Not a wiki.
it did. But that's where we needed to be.
We wanted,
In supplication, honey.
girl, I worked through it. And like me and my husband lab, we're like, we worked all the way through it. We never stopped working. Like we moved states and worked. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were living in Arizona and we moved to Washington State. Independent. Like we rented the apartment online.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, craziness is goodness. I don't take any experience for granted. And I believe that all of them are necessary on my journey.
That's right. We say earlier, nothing will be wasted.
Nothing.
We ain't wasting nothing over here.
No. And it was like, oh, I just regret. No. Why would I regret that? Well, that means to me, I regret my kids? No.
No.
No, I said, no, there was a purpose.
Yep. Every difficult relationship, every hard job, every seeming failure, every mark that we didn't hit, allegedly, all of it. I wouldn't change a thing about it.
Nothing. It's just, and I think about that as like, because somebody said, well, would you do it differently? And I said, I used to say I would have been an older mother or not as young of a mother as I was. But now I think I did it perfectly. I said, because I'm a younger grandmother.
Yeah.
I was like, my grandson is 15. Like, and I still took him out and, oh, girl, I was like, oh, I'm so grateful that I don't have to do this all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That thing tired me out.
Shoot, my 11-year-old tires me out.
Oh,
I had her late. I didn't start early. I started late.
I can only imagine. I pray for people like you. God, please give them some strength because I can't imagine.
Let me tell you, we're equipped for what we have on our plate. We are. Because I say I started late, but I didn't. I started late for some people, but it was perfect for me.
Right.
And I have the energy I need. Yes. Would it have been different if I was younger? Yes, different in some ways that probably would have been good, and different in some ways that probably wouldn't have been good. So
she all the time.
Yeah, she needed me to be this. She needed me to have her when I had her. That's what she needed.
And that's the miracle. I say the same. I think about my kids that said they saved my life because I would have been a whole different type of person.
Yeah.
Probably without them. I was like, I was a little fast ass. So I went and did things and stuff. And so, yeah. And I thought I should have, yeah. And so I think about that. I said, I think they saved my life because, for one thing, I had endometriosis. I had it since I was 12, really.
Wow.
And so when I was 17, my doctor went and did DNC. And he told my mother that I had the worst case of endometriosis he ever seen on anybody so young. Girl, and I used to hemorrhage every month. Literally, like I would wear 2 Super Plus tampons and a pad. And I would have to change it about every 2 or 3 hours. Yeah, and so my mother was like, she told me first I was being a drama queen. So anyway, but yeah, so I think about that because I had my daughter when I turned 21 and then I had her. Like she was due 2 days after my birthday.
Wow.
And she came 15 days after. I turned 21, I had my glass of wine, kept it moving.
Right.
But yeah, that was something to not think about that stuff. And so I think that if I hadn't had them and I would have waited, I probably wouldn't have been able to have.
Yeah.
That stuff, the harder it is.
Yeah.
So I said, of course, this is our hindsight.
Of course. Yeah, but because we could say my life could have been better too if I would have done blah, blah, blah. But it also could have been worse. So all we can say is what happened was supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen just like it did.
Just like it did. Just like it did. And on that note, thank you so much for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah, where the magic happens. I am so thrilled that you're listening or watching us. And I want to just appreciate you. And if you're subscribed, thank you so much for being a subscriber. If not, hit that button and subscribe. That's what we do. We like stuff. And I just want to appreciate you and thank you. And thank you for downloading as well. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. So again, thank you for joining us on Straight Out of Savannah. Bye now.